Hi everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Baldur's Gate 2. I'm Bioware, and I'm gonna be starting the game now. So, one of the big things with RPGs, of course, is designing your character. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do first. As soon as we watch through all the starting movies here, I want to make sure that we don't miss out on anything. This is really great music.
In the library fortress of Candlekeep, under the kind tutelage of your foster father Gorion. Imoen shared this home. A kindred spirit, her background was as mysterious as your own. Gorion's murder brought answers to your questions when his killer Saravok was revealed to be your brother. You and Saravok were a product of the time of troubles, a chaotic period when gods were made flesh and forced to walk the earth. One such deity foresaw his own death and walked the land before the cataclysm. He left a score of mortal offspring, intended to be the fuel for his rebirth. The god was Bhaal, Lord of Murder, and you are one of his children. Saravok sought a war of sacrifice to prove his worth, believing he would become the new Lord of Murder. You killed your brother, sending his taint back to Bhaal. You were the hero of Baldur's Gate, but some suspected you shared the same lineage as Saravok. You departed soon after, under circumstances much darker than anyone would have believed. They came as you rested, figures cloaked in mist that clouded your thoughts, blurring the lines between consciousness and dreaming. There was no malice or hatred, no mention of an old score, only quick capture and the promise of grim deeds to come.
Okay, that actually pretty much told us the story from the first Baldur's Gate, which this one is a continuation of the story of. And it also showed us a little bit about who and where we are now. As the player finds out, it was more than just a hint that you and Saravok shared the same lineage. In fact, he was indeed your half-brother. And you're both children of the dead god of murder, Bhaal. Now, one thing is to keep in mind, of course, the player does know this at this point, so that's not a spoiler, but I'm going to be trying to do this with as few spoilers as I can, for obvious reasons. The truth is that the game is just too good. So, while I know the story inside and out, and I don't really have a problem if someone messages me with a spoiler or something, maybe we should try to avoid talking about them too much in the comments, because I'm sure there's some people out there who don't know the whole story, and, well, we don't want to spoil the whole story for them. I can't... I know there's probably not many people who don't know the story of a 12-year-old game, but still. Alright, now this is where we will go ahead and create our character. And if I would have actually been able to play through the first game, then I could have just imported the character directly into this game, but unfortunately that wasn't really an option given the situation that I explained in the introduction video. So yeah, that isn't really an option. So we're going to go ahead and create our character here. Gender, it doesn't matter which one you pick. You can actually choose either one of them. There's very little that I can think of as far as quests or anything like that that are unique to one character over the other. There's a few lines of dialogue that are, but that's about it. So we're just going to go ahead and create a male character here. And because I'm going to be a wizard, that's what I usually play. And, well, as we start getting higher in levels, you'll see why. Because they're just very powerful. And so I'm going to pick a wizard-like picture here. And I will admit, I'm sort of a sucker for mage duels, and there's a few nice ones in the game. There. Race. This actually does matter quite a bit, because unlike in newer versions of Dungeons & Dragons, AD&D, which is what Baldur's Gate is using, actually limits what races can be which classes. There are no favored classes, but each race is limited. So for example, gnomes are generally gonna have to be illusionists or specialist mages. They might have one or two other options, but you can't pick any single class. You can't pick everything with a certain character race. So humans are the only ones that largely have everything, but yeah, then of course you don't get the special abilities that some of the other races have, like the infravision, although that doesn't matter too much in Baldur's Gate 2. Just to say, which mage is actually the most or which of these is actually best is largely a matter of opinion. I know a lot of people who will swear by conjurers, but with conjurer that blocks out divination. Now there's only 8 divination spells in the game. It's by far the smallest school. However, included in there is just about everything that you need to dispel invisibility. Although, I believe there is a spell that can be used to do it that falls under one of the other schools. The one I usually pick is actually Invoker, which has opposition school of enchantment or charm. While those can be useful, I mean, you can charm enemies and turn them against other fighters and things in their combat. I find that they resist that 9 times out of 10, and when an enemy doesn't resist it, it's usually a hobgoblin or something that is rather pointless to control, honestly. The other one that can be worth picking is Wild Mage, but that's exactly what it sounds like. Wild Mages are unpredictable. You can sometimes cast ridiculously high-level spells a lot earlier than normal, but there's also times whenever, well, you'll find yourself fireballing your own party and things like that. But I'm actually going to go ahead and go with that one just because I think it'll be fun to play. It's not one that I play very often. Alignment, this is for role-playing purposes more than anything else. The game does not impose any kind of penalty on you if you don't follow your alignment. But, well, this is an RPG, so you really should pick something that you want to be. I'm going to go ahead and just pick a good alignment. That's sort of what the game expects, even though well, there are evil and neutral ways to do certain quests.